This is the weekly sales meeting for September 28th, 2025. My name is Chris Fleming. You can reach me at chris@cdmediaconsulting.com or go to our website at cdmediaconsulting.com. Today's topic, start where you stand. Waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. Conditions are never perfect. Markets shift, buyers change, and client needs evolve. The idea that you can only act once all the planets are aligned is not only unrealistic, but it is also dangerous. Progress doesn't come from perfection, it comes from movement. And that's why the most successful sellers adopt a simple but powerful mindset. It is to start where you stand. No matter your skill level, your experience, or your situation, what matters most is that you begin. As author Napoleon Hill once said, don't wait, the time will never be just right. Every organization, including yours, has a baseline. That is its current state of knowledge. It's their performance level, and it's their habits. That baseline may be strong, average, or below where it should be, but it's always the right place to begin. When you assess your current level of mastery with honesty, you create a realistic starting point for growth. You avoid the trap of comparison. You stop trying to catch up with people who have done it longer or have more resources. You realize that success isn't about being ahead, it's about getting better from where you are right now. Time is the currency you can't afford to waste. The longer you wait for the ideal plan or the perfect message, the more opportunities you miss. A study by the Harvard Business Review revealed that companies that take action win more than those who only plan to win. Those who take rapid, consistent action, even if the action is not perfect, will outperform others. These companies perform far better than those that spend too much time planning without execution. Action builds clarity. Movement reveals what works and what doesn't, but you only gain those insights after you get started. There's a psychological benefit to starting. Motion can create momentum, and momentum creates motivation. When you begin to take action, even small steps, you feel progress. That progress builds confidence, and confidence fuels further progress. Stanford University's B.J. Fogg, a behavioral scientist, emphasizes the power of starting by saying, tiny actions lead to big changes. It's the act of doing that changes behavior. It's not the act of thinking about doing. The idea of starting where you stand is not only motivational, it's practical. Selling is a dynamic process. Markets are constantly shifting. Competitors are adapting. If you sit still, you fall behind. Instead of waiting to learn a new system, start with what you have. Rather than waiting to hire a new person for your team, go get them. Start with what you have and learn as you go. You can refine in real time. Stephen Pressfield is an American author. He is known for the book The War of Art. He is a former Marine turned screenwriter. His work is designed to help professionals overcome resistance and take action. He writes, start before you're ready. There is eminent danger in waiting for perfect conditions, as they rarely come. Think of it like physical training. You can't run a marathon if you haven't walked around the block, but you don't need to wait until you're fit to begin. You begin where you are. Then you build up your endurance. The same applies to selling. You may not be great at handling objections. Your discovery calls might need work, but if you avoid those situations because you're not perfect yet, you never improve. You have to be willing to perform while you learn. That's how growth happens. You have to be willing to practice, but don't practice on your customers. One of the biggest mistakes you could make is letting fear of failure delay your start time. The truth is that delay doesn't prevent failure. It guarantees it. Because if you're not in the game, you can't win it. According to Gong.io, top-performing salespeople make 45% more attempts than average performers. Not because they always know exactly what to say, but because they are willing to act. They start conversations. They work on their follow-ups. They create opportunities to make a recommendation to their prospects. In doing so, daily, they learn more of what to do and what not to do. Waiting to craft the perfect presentation is a fool's errand. Holding out for the ideal lead list is an exercise in futility. Holding off until all conditions in the market are right is a form of procrastination, but it remains dressed up for service as preparation. Preparation is important, but at some point the planning has to give way to doing. Former football coach Bill Parcells put it this way: you are what your record says you are. For us in the sales department, that means our performance reflects our actions. If you are not prospecting, not presenting, not closing, you will not make progress. Nowhere in the history of ever has a seller made their monthly goal through zero effort on their part. Without your action, you will not make progress. Even messy action beats perfect inaction. The thing about starting where you stand is it creates a culture of accountability. Excuses fade. There's no more blaming of the economy, our product, or the timing. Responsibility shifts to where it belongs. The responsibility is ours as the sales team, yours as the salesperson, and the present moment as the affected period. Progress stops being something you wait for and becomes something you choose. When you embrace that mindset, everything changes. Momentum builds, ownership grows, results follow. Because in sales, growth doesn't happen by chance. It happens when you decide to act right now, and you do it from a place where you are standing. Your current baseline is not a problem. It's a measurement. It tells you what's working and what's not. That's valuable. If your close rate is low, that's not a reason to stop. It's a reason to fix. If your cold calls aren't converting, that's not failure, it's feedback. The best sellers don't see weak spots as reasons to delay. They see them as places to improve. McKinsey & Company reports that those who track and act on real-time performance data grow revenue twice as fast as those who don't. But you can't track progress unless you are in motion. There is no progress standing still. But we're not ready yet. It sounds responsible, it feels safe, but it hides the deeper problem. The bigger issue is fear, and it is fear of looking foolish or being judged. The truth is, every seller was once a rookie. Every polished presenter once stumbled through their first presentation. But they kept going. They learned, and because they started, they got better. Les Brown is a renowned motivational speaker and author. He was a former television host. He was known for his dynamic speaking style. At birth, he was labeled mentally challenged, and that is the kind version of the phrase. But he evolved into one of the world's top motivational voices. As he stated in his book, The Power of Purpose, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great. There's another reason to act now. Your buyers aren't waiting. The buyer's journey is already in motion. According to Forrester, 60% of buyers have already made up their minds about a solution before they speak to a salesperson. If you aren't out shaping the conversation, someone else is, and that someone else may not offer a better solution. They merely showed up earlier than you did. In today's market, showing up early and often is a competitive advantage, but that only happens when you start from where you stand. Some sales managers worry that starting too early will lead to mistakes. And yes, mistakes will happen, but mistakes are how you learn. There is a study of this in the Journal of Applied Psychology. Here we learn that companies that encourage intelligent failure have higher levels of innovation. They have higher employee engagement, and they get better performance. Sellers who grow the fastest are the ones who fail forward. They take imperfect steps, but they learn fast and adjust quickly. That agility starts with a decision to act. It is not with a decision to wait for all things to be perfect. In practical terms, starting from the current baseline means reviewing your CRM. Identify those who haven't been contacted in 30 days. It means role-playing calls even if you are not polished. It means running outreach campaigns with the message you have now, not the one you wish you had. It means tracking what happens and improving along the way. These small but consistent actions compound. The sooner you begin, the sooner those actions start to build results. It also means being honest. Honest about your current place. Honest about skill gaps. Honest about what's working and what's not. Because pretending you're further along than you are helps no one. It slows down progress. The fastest way forward is to admit where you are. From there, you can make yourself one step better each day. That's how mastery is built. It's not built in leaps, but in layers. The mindset of starting now applies to everybody. This includes those who are brand new and the veterans. Sellers who wait for the perfect structure or message stall progress. Sales leaders who take action even before everything is perfect set the tone. They model urgency, ownership, and execution. They don't only talk about strategy, but they activate it. And when teams see leadership moving, they follow. Cultures of execution don't happen by chance. They are built by leaders who believe momentum matters more than waiting for the ideal conditions. In the long run, it's not talent or resources that set great sales organizations apart. It's momentum. The real gap is between motion and inertia. Teams that start where they stand, even if it's messy, improve faster. They build habits, recognize early wins, and gain confidence with every step. That consistent movement compounds over time. It turns effort into growth and growth into results. Sustainable success isn't built on perfect plans. It's built on the willingness to act, and act before you are comfortable acting. Momentum makes the difference. Start where you stand doesn't mean skip planning. It means stop waiting for the perfect plan. A good plan executed today beats the perfect plan sitting on your whiteboard. Sales is a contact sport. You win by being in motion, not by sitting on the sidelines. That means showing up, speaking up, and following up. Momentum matters more than perfection. The teams that succeed aren't the ones who wait, it's the ones who act. These teams make adjustments as necessary and keep moving, because progress always favors those who are already in the game. So what does that mean for your sales organization right now? It means stop waiting and start taking inventory. What skills do we have? What tools are we underusing? What processes are holding us back? Then pick one thing. Start with one thing to improve, pursue, or sharpen, and then get moving. Because motion breaks stagnation. Once you take that first step, you shift from stuck to growing. The goal isn't to overhaul everything overnight, it's to create forward momentum. Progress starts with a single, focused action taken today, not tomorrow. As Martin Luther King Jr. once said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. That first step is everything. It shifts your mindset from waiting to doing, from hesitation to momentum. You stop living in the someday and you start creating results now. It's not about knowing every move in advance. It's about trusting that progress comes from action. That single step turns potential into motion. Motion then turns into growth. That is the difference between watching and winning. Sales success isn't about having all the answers. It's about taking action. While you wait, a competitor makes a move. A buyer loses interest. Momentum slips away. But when you act, even in small ways, you build progress. You create opportunity and results. Consistent action then compounds over time. The future belongs to those who show up and do the work. It may not be perfect, and that is okay. It needs only to be persistent. In our selling world of today, hesitation costs more than mistakes. Movement, no matter how imperfect, is the foundation of growth. Don't wait to be perfect. Be present. Be in motion. But do start where you stand. My new book, Double Your Revenue, is now available on Amazon.com. If you like what you have heard here today, please consider ordering a copy or two. You can always send one to a friend. Go to cdmediaconsulting.com right now and follow the instructions to order.